from New York. Ebro in the morning on Hot 97.
Right. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Ebro in the morning. The lovely Laura Stiles and Wrestling Shirt Rosenberg back. Who's that on the shirt today?
Andre?
That would be Andre the Giant.
Andre the Giant.
You're
Wearing
familiar
some
with
sort
him?
of gold chain.
And he's holding a,
Well,
is
yeah,
that a Puma box?
You know, we're together. Me and Andre both chained up. A surprise people didn't expect from either of us in 2017.
And this right here,
What's up?
camo wearing Gerard
Carmichael.
What's up, you guys?
Camo Carmichael.
And by the way, don't get it twisted. AKA Sitcom Sam, AKA Network Ned, AKA
HBO Harry?
Money Mitch, making money Mitch.
Well, you know, my first experience with you as when I saw your show come on, I believe it was on NBC.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And I was so happy because it was a black television show that didn't check off stereotypes, actually toyed with stereotypes and the things that, you know, we in black households toy with. So
Yeah.
I really appreciate you putting that show together.
No, I appreciate you watching it, man.
Well, did you run into any challenges because it wasn't like this knee slap, ha ha, he, and my mama name ghetto stereotype program? Did you run into any of that?
I think, well, first of all, the biggest challenge was marketing and making sure it wasn't marketed as that, you know, because there are big moments in the show, right? And marketing likes to only show that because they think people's attention span is like this. So they the loudest moments they would put in like these trailers for the show. And then that was the biggest challenge. But like, I just try and write from truth. Like, we just try and make the most truthful version of it. Like, it's like things inspired by my actual parents and discussions. And it's more about an argument than anything else. Like, the show was really just us having like some type of discussion, some type of
Yeah,
argument.
it felt like every episode it was dealing with a little something. And I
Yeah.
like the fact that your dad, I think that was your dad on the program. That was the guy, he was like the older black man on
Yeah,
the
yeah.
program.
David Allen Greer?
David Allen
Yeah,
Greer.
David Allen Greer, yes.
How dare
But I
you.
was just playing with the
great
program.
David
All
Allen
right, how
Greer.
dare you?
Dag, I was just playing with the program.
Dag.
Definitely cracked on you for being so articulate, talking white. Like that was a part of the plot line.
Yeah. That just the arguments I get in with my parents when I tell them to read. They're just like, you know, they're like, I'm not reading it. I'm like, stop being a goddamn. I just yell at them a lot. It's a lot of clashes over that. And David plays it so great. I mean, it's funny because David is like one of the most well-read,
Nerdy
well-spoken,
thespians of all time.
Yale drama school. You know what I mean? Like, and then he turns on Joe Carmichael.
Here's where I want to go, if it's all right, because I've sort of, at the time when you and I met, it was literally like our friend Betsy from Funny or Die introduced us, and
we started off so strong, and then we only see each other at parties.
Yeah, we faded quickly.
We started off. We
happened?
went to dinner. What's that
I
place
took you
in
guys
Harlem?
to Dinosaur. I took you all to Dinosaur, yeah.
Went to Dinosaur.
So you took the black man in the barbecue spot.
I take everyone. I take everyone to
Fucking shame, bro.
Dinosaur. I take
Fucking
everyone to
shame.
Dinosaur. No, that's literally where I take everyone. That's the only.
I'm kidding.
Anyways, so we went to Dinosaur. Started off very strong, and
He put up a stronger defense than I did.
I know.
was
Oh,
like,
what
oh no,
you
it's
saying?
pretty
He
good.
was like fucking
I thought
barbecue,
it
bro.
was
Why you
great, man.
tripping?
Yeah, it was
yeah,
great.
why would you not? So we go to Dinosaur, and they're like, you know, you guys should meet because just like, you know, you have similar interests, sense of humor. I didn't know that I was sort of meeting someone as they were on the like we really were on the verge of sort of superstardom, and months away from becoming
I had
having
some stuff
everything
coming out, I guess,
happen.
yeah.
Neighbors came out.
Oh yeah,
right
that was
around
before
then.
that. Yeah, that was.
And then the
that was a
TV
while
show
ago.
gets greenlit. How did it happen so quickly for you? Like it felt like you were out there. I know you were doing comedy, and then it did seem like sort of like that. Is that inaccurate?
Maybe you know what's crazy? You try and evaluate your career. I don't really know. I'm not on social media, and I usually just work, and I'm usually in a thing. So I don't even know when people are like, "Oh man, you're more." I have no idea. Like
Well,
I eat and work.
But you're aware.
Go
But
back
hold
to
on.
work.
But you are aware of that you are on an NBC sitcom named after you.
Yeah, I mean that's cool.
And
that's
that is-
like a cool
Whoa,
thing
whoa.
with the.
Foul. Throw a whistle, timeout.
That's cool.
That's cool.
I know.
No, but it only matters if it's good. Like I really don't.
How many seasons now?
We're on our third, but
On 3.
yeah,
Seinfeld struggled for how many years before it took off?
Well, there was the 1 year when there was really it didn't become its thing for 3, 4, something
But that's
like
what I
that.
mean.
it
You're-
takes a while for a sitcom to find a rhythm and find an audience and to, develop the characters. So yeah, it's usually around the third or fourth season, but that's traditional.
But you also have to recognize in the comedy world, the name Gerard Carmichael. Like I've never seen you do. Do you even do stand up?
Yeah.
I've never even seen it.
2
New
HBO
special, right?
specials, right?
Yeah, I have a couple
Never.
of them.
I
Come
know
on, where
you
you been, man?
No, but that's what I'm saying. I know you from. Whoa, they gave this black dude a sitcom. Like,
Right.
who is this guy?
Yeah.
Like, I know you from.
I think a lot of people probably had that reaction.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, people, I mean, it's always a surprise, just like, especially with me. I mean, I didn't do, my first time doing stand-up on television was a special, so to a lot of people, it wasn't like I was doing these I don't really do anything. So I don't like a lot of appearances on something, or it does seem really out of the blue.
So
for a lot of
can
people.
you give us a little bit of, like, how did you become a part of the Illuminati?
I told you that he shot one of his HBO specials in some kind of Masonic temple or Masonic lounge.
Yeah, I did the last one at the Masonic Hall. Yeah.
Black Mason.
No.
Freemason?
I just really love the venue. Slave Mason.
How'd
what
you
the hell are
find
you
the
saying?
venue?
So no, but
How did you
in
know?
seriousness, how did those major steps happen? Can you give a little bit of insight to people of like so many comedians, Gerard, have been around. We know them. I know talented comedians in their mid-40s, grinding. They've had sitcoms they've tried to sell forever.
Yeah.
You got the car. Are you 30 yet?
I just turned 30.
Happy birthday, but happy
Thank you.
belated.
Thank you.
30 years old, you have an NBC sitcom named after you. What were like the pivotal steps that sort of led to it happening?
I mean, it's a lot of technical things that I guess, but for the most part, it's just, I found perspective kind of early in stand-up. That's the key, is just finding some type of point of view that hopefully is unique. And I kind of tapped into it a little bit earlier. So we started writing and developing things, I mean, like within a few years into my career. So, and then just positioning, doing things, studios start making offers. I was really specific about the type of show I wanted to make. And while that hits its bumps early during because they test your show, they send it to Vegas, test it poorly, because
Vegas?
which is, they always send it to Vegas because that's where the biggest assortment of people are,
visit?
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's a large suburban multicultural population.
Multicultural population, and a lot of shows, really, you don't want your show to test well because, if it tests well, a lot of times it just means it's familiar, which means that people have seen it before. And So, but, went through all of that, did a pilot presentation that tested poorly, and then we did the pilot. A lot of it just comes from, truthfully, finding perspective early. And again, I'm not saying it just to say, I really mostly just work. I'm always working and writing.
Okay, but there's still-
Let me ask
performing
you.
and,
Let me ask you it this way, right? Because we have seen in the last 7 years, all the networks, right? CBS, ABC, NBC, Fox, greenlighting shows of multicultural casts, right?
Yeah.
Black casts, and then Blackish was, and then you had damn, I'm gonna get filleted for forgetting this lady's name that does How to Get
Shonda
Away with
Rhimes?
Shonda Rhimes, and her success on ABC.
Yeah.
Blackish.
Yeah.
Super hit, right?
Fresh off the boat. Yes.
Fresh off the boat. There's the one with the Jewish family too.
Yeah, the Jews.
Yeah, the Jews.
The
Great
Jews.
program, the Jews.
The Goldbergs.
Goldbergs, yes. But is it maybe a part of that also where you were pitching? It was timing,
It's
you
always
were lined up and pitching, and it was like, okay, listen, the television landscape, we people's minds are open, or networks, or whatever's happening.
Truthfully,
we're seeing success with these programs.
That's always in Hollywood. The thing is, diversity is there. There's always somebody we got to get more diverse. That's been consistent since probably the 70s.
Yeah.
Just that
Since
we need
good
more.
times in the Jeffersons.
In the Jeffersons, and they're we need more, and it probably once a year they all panic and they realize. So I'm sure that it is some benefit to that, but that is kind of a constant of networks that they're always
So when
just kind of.
you sort of blurred, you're like, oh, it's technical. Did you, two things. One, did you just, I know you're a really smart dude. Did you just sort of survey the landscape, see what was needed, and learn how to be great at making relationships? Did
Well,
you know,
you know
the
what?
right show to pit?
Well, it is with anything that you do. I think the most important thing is context. You want to know where if you make music, whatever you do, it has to be in the context of what everybody else is doing, where there's a lane open. You find what everybody else is doing, try and do the opposite, try and avoid, falling in and becoming a cliche. So I do know
going in the world they're looking for.
Yeah, and I do know I know television pretty well. Read a lot as just a fan. We all are fans of it, and I try and look at it even from a technical aspect, and then you just write. Whatever you write has to be personal and honest and real and your perspective, and then you just find a way to make that fit, and you see how that fills some type of void that's in the landscape. So
I want to know, because for the young people who are watching you, watching this interview, listening to this interview, because you're young.
Yeah.
Let's rewind, okay? Because you say we've been pitching to, pilots, this and this. How did it all start from the very beginning? Because I know a lot of people who write but are clueless as to how to go take the steps to push it forward.
And where were you again before LA?
I was in North Carolina. I'm from North Carolina. And
okay,
then,
so you're in North Carolina with all these aspirations and dreams to do this. So you moved to LA.
Moved to LA.
Hanging out with Ninth Wonder, you know what I mean?
I met Ninth so late. I met him this year.
That's a shame.
Yeah, I know.
You guys
I met him this year.
Congratulations.
I met Fonte this year. I met everybody this year.
All the North Carolinians.
Yeah.
Okay.
You were at Little Brother shows.
So you moved to LA. You moved to LA, and what happened?
But hold on, really quick. Thank you very much for not leading with Petey Pablo. I appreciate that. I want to say thank you for that.
No disrespect to Petey Pablo.
With all due respect to Mr. Pablo.
Wave the goddamn shirt.
Yes,
right?
but I want to thank you, because that's what everybody just and they all think that they're the first one to say it, so Petey Pablo. It's like, shut the fuck up. Everybody, we get you. Thanks for leading with
Little Brother. That's
Little Brother. That's a
Ninth
beautiful.
Wonder.
Yeah, that's great.
And it's funny because Ebro might be more familiar with Petey Pablo's music, to be totally honest with you.
No, but
by the way,
that was great.
Isn't it funny that Petey Pablo...
I had the Minstrel Show album, man.
Yeah, sure you did.
It's crazy. It was called the Minstrel Show, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I'm on it.
Man, are you on it?
Are you really?
I'm on it. Yes, I did an interlude.
He does an interlude, yeah.
But
Would that work?
Isn't it
How
fu-
would people respond to that title? Now?
What,
it's
the
funny.
Minstrel
Just
No, it will work now.
would it work? Yeah. Okay.
I think it might be easy. And they were daring though with that album. But I just think it's funny about Petey Pablo that he's sort of a punchline. Even that song, he had a couple amazing songs.
Fire.
But how also amazing is that one of my favorite moments in hip hop the last year was 2 Chainz just referencing Petey Pablo.
Petey Pablo. Yeah.
Petey Pablo, take your shirt
shirt
off.
off, yeah.
That shit was so hot. And part of it was that we all were like, I love that fucking song.
Yeah.
Nobody disliked Petey Pablo.
Right, it's just
No.
a reference, right? It's just like...
and Petey
Freak
Pablo-
a Leak. What was the
and
Freak a
Freak a
Leak?
Leak-
Which was the
Yeah.
same. Technically, wasn't that the same beat that the Usher?
Probably.
Okay.
it was, what's his face?
I just want to make sure that everybody understands that Petey Pablo is by no stretch a punchline.
No, but I do appreciate it not being. It is the most immediate reference
Because
that
it's
people
the-
make.
it is the
he
more
says
main-
North Carolina in the
that
song.
and
Yeah.
it
Lil
is
Jon.
the more-
Yeah.
Sorry, Lil Jon did Freak a Leak. Bam, 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 bam. Wasn't that Lil Jon?
Probably.
It wasn't
Yes.
Jazzy
Yeah,
Faye,
yeah,
right? I think it was Lil Jon.
Yeah, that's a little dumb.
Anyway, back to
Sorry,
the
so you-
I'm sorry. And then I say thank you for not referencing. Then we go on a long.
It happens on the show all the time. It happens all the time. All right, so go back to LA. You moved to LA.
I moved to LA. But I was 20, and I just moved because I'm competitive. So I wanted to North Carolina is some great comedians there, but I just wanted to be around people that did it for a living, that
Right.
dedicated their lives to it. So I moved to LA and I started comedy there. You do open mics and you do you sleep on couches, and then that leads to shows, and then again it's just you're always kind of having that 8 Mile moment. As a stand-up comedian, it's always that moment of this could be the night. So if you just treat every night like it's the same, you stay consistent, and then people start noticing. And then you just meet people. You form these relationships, not just with networks, but creatively. I have a great group of friends and that I work with on things, and we just kind of went from there. It is timing. It's all of those things. It's just everything.
If you had to give the Emmy speech tomorrow because you won an award, who would be the person that you absolutely have to shout out for what they did for you and helping you in your career? Besides the obligatory white people at NBC.
Oh, God.
Oh man, no. You just think, who?
There's not one person who took you under was like, yo, I gotta, or I don't know, I gotta introduce you to so and so, and once they got you going in LA, it all started.
I did this shit myself, son.
Yo, fuck
but
them.
not one
Fuck
like I
them.
don't have like a mentor or anything. You know what I mean? So the one I mean it really is a lot. It's no one person that I could point to and say this person. You know, like you think the friends that whose couch you sleep on, you think all these people, but the one person.
There wasn't like a guru, a rabbi, like your rabbi.
No,
was like,
no. Yeah, no, it's just I like figuring stuff out myself. I don't. I mean,
mine is Ebro, for example, right? Like ultimately, if I do this, people are like, well, Ebro doesn't give me the first job, nothing else happens. That's how everything.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
And to all the people who hate Rosenberg, you're welcome.
Exactly. This wasn't the platform I was planning to do this on, your own show, but you get the idea.
That was a very special moment. I like that. That was a really
very
honest,
special
moment.
This has become a very special Ebro in the Morning interview.
Oh Lord.
So you have the new season starts in May,
Yeah, May 31st.
and then you have a special too, another special.
yeah, it just came out in March on HBO. Yeah.
I gotta watch these stand-ups, man.
Yeah, hopefully you like them.
So let me ask you this: do you agree most comedians pull their funny from pain? Is that something you agree with?
Yeah, there a lot of times there is some pain there. Either they're drawing off a painful situation, or because they were ignored or felt ignored or whatever. That the
Make
pain
funny
of
from
that
there.
drives them to.
Is that you also?
I do think I probably felt overlooked, overheard. Yeah, I mean, not overheard, but like not heard, unheard. Yeah. Those feelings make you stand in front of a room full of people and want to express your thoughts and
Give me
feelings.
this goddamn microphone.
Yeah, like I want to say something to you. I really want to connect with you. So it probably is from that, but I don't think I was like.
Why weren't you heard?
I guess, and it's partly me. It's like being able to articulate how I felt was important, and like learning that. But with that said, I mean, it wasn't like I was like unpopular, and a lot of comedians are like really unpopular in high school or unpopular. I didn't really go through any of that. I was picked on earlier in my life for not having cool clothes and stuff like that.
But you was bagging joints in high school. You had your game up.
Hey, I was doing all right.
You went to senior prom.
He's like,
You
"I'm
had a
good."
date?
No, I didn't go to prom.
How come?
It just
was too
wasn't
cool.
working out.
It was too
being
cool.
This girl.
So you had a girlfriend, didn't work out, missed the prom.
Not even a girlfriend. I was gonna go with this girl that kind of off and on whatever with, and I was like, it just
Wait,
wasn't
you was
worth the hassle.
You was
Because
having sex in high school?
yeah, I mean,
Wow.
wasn't everybody?
I
Were
mean, I
people not?
was. I don't know. Not everybody.
Ebro was.
I was a
I
little
had sex
early.
with
I was
one
too
girl,
early.
my girlfriend. You were like getting it in high school though.
I mean, I wouldn't say getting it in. I was
He
was
put it
really
in one time.
putting in an effort.
What was the ethnic makeup of your school?
My school was like half black, half white. I had like this all black existence until high school, where we were. I went to school, kind of bust out, and it was like half the hood, half like white people. I'll say close to half and half, maybe 40-40.
So
and then
did you have both? Did you exist in high school? Did you have like black friends and white friends? Were they all together? What was like your
Yeah, I started making friends like just all around in high school. It was an interesting thing because especially having a really all black dentists, doctors, black. Like I genuinely believe my elementary school was like this NAACP covert operation to see what happens if you just put a bunch. Like I learned the Negro national anthem before the actual national anthem. I thought "Lift Every Voice and Sing" was the national anthem until like the fifth grade. Yeah,
It
like
is.
I
Let's keep it 100.
It's
better than the national anthem.
It
Keep
genuinely was
1,000.
it was like Black History Month for like 6 years, from kindergarten to fifth grade. It was like a
Right.
consistent,
I'm jealous.
Pan-African stuff. Like it was very
diaspora
had
was
mostly
talk.
black teachers, black principal. Like it really was this existence.
really
My
black
middle school-
dentist too?
Yeah, my dentist.
What
Dr.
town?
Warren.
What
Dr.
town?
Warren. Black
Dr.
dentist.
Warren.
What
yeah,
town
my
was this?
my pediatrician was black. Both
Yeah.
it was these two black doctors. Dr. Kennedy formed this.
Meanwhile, white people was cleaning the kitchen at the diner. Like y'all had the whole thing.
Yeah,
Flipped,
we had
right?
the whole
Your
thing.
flipped.
It really was. It was almost like my everything. I mean, the
White
neighborhood
people
was
was
black.
doing
and then-
housekeeping.
I think we should take a minute. I think we should take just a quick pause for you two to sing the Black National Anthem.
Lift every voice.
And I can't believe we actually did it.
Till earth and
heaven ring with the harmony, uplift Liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening.
I think it's glistening skies.
I thought, really?
Glistening skies?
Glistening
Keep
skies.
going.
Yeah, excuse me.
Glistening
You're
or
right.
glistening?
Yeah. Let every
It's all-
sound to victory is won. Well, then we're stopping at the favorite part. Sing a song full of the hope that the. We get it.
That was so nice.
tight.
That
It
was
moment we just had.
Beautiful.
That was
You know,
tight.
I mean,
Second verse though.
I don't know the second verse.
oh, okay.
Rebecca, do you know it? Rebecca, do you know it?
I can finish it.
You know
the
I don't
second
know the
verse?
second verse.
Do you know it, Gerard? Do you know second
Ah,
verse?
wait, I'm blanking. I'm
Wow.
blanking.
He knew the Black National Anthem before the white folks one.
Wow. This is very impressive though. I
Wow.
enjoyed that very much.
No, it's a, but
Well, can you
this-
shout the town? We might have to move there. Things are
Winston-Salem.
crazy.
Winston-Salem, North Carolina.
Winston-Salem, North
Yeah.
Carolina, ladies and gentlemen. This shit gets sideways.
Yeah.
By the
but
way, you knew Winston-Salem was a pretty black place before this
Why?
interview.
Because of cigarettes.
well, it is. Winston-Salem.
Wow.
But, you know, all the niggas
Never
really
thought
smoke
about it
Newports.
like that.
Yeah. No, but it really is.
Well,
it's a
in
tobacco
Newport,
town.
Virginia,
It's bound-
Newport, Virginia, black as hell too. Newport News is black.
Very good point. I
Yeah.
never even
Hilarious.
thought about all these
Newport.
things.
Newports, baby. On the back cover of every
Winston-Salem,
on the back
Newport.
of on the
If
back
they-
of every Jet magazine
If
was
they
a
had a
Newport
cool
ad.
California, that'd be black too. Cool California.
Cools.
Cool cigarettes.
That's funny.
That'd be black though. If it was
All right,
cool.
so you have sitcoms. Okay, so what about your role in Transformers?
I haven't even seen the movie yet. I mean, I hope I'm in it.
Oh, wait.
How many
I
days
did
were
it.
you there?
I legitimately I did this movie because I wanted to work with Michael Bay. I was really excited to like
Oh,
this
yeah, I just
experience
wanted
is
to
so
work with
well.
Michael
No,
Bay.
you
That's
have
the
this.
only
We had
reason
this
I
had this
opportunity.
aspiration.
Had
I
this
wanted to work with
opportunity.
The reason
to
I
work with
did-
Michael Bay.
Oliver Stone. Yo, Oliver Stone, put me in the next joint.
No, let me explain. Because we asked him, why did you decide to do Transformers? No, we didn't. Of course you did Transformers, because it was an option. That's
Yeah.
another thing people are like, the reason I did Transformers
with that said, you have to be careful with these things. Like, people get really excited. Hollywood is full of things that seem like an opportunity, but you have to be really, really cautious because you can
Well, how
can
could
jump
you play yourself
people,
in that situation, you think? You're saying there's a risk of
because
playing
you have to be cautious doing a thing that you don't really serve a function in.
Right.
It's very easy to just do it. Well, this is a big movie. Like, I'm not even saying I don't really I don't like auditions. I've probably, and not in an arrogant way, but I've turned down more roles than I've done just because you
Because I
gotta
had
be
a
careful.
black dentist and I had a
'Cause I had a
black
black dentist and I
pediatrician.
know who the
my
fuck I
fucking
am.
value out this motherfucker.
So you auditioned,
Exactly.
but you did audition
But
for
that's not
Transformers.
wrong.
For Transformers, you did.
No,
You still didn't.
no, I didn't audition. They
well,
I had a meeting.
It's because he
All
had
right.
all black teachers in a
No,
black
but-
town
but-
with a black dentist.
A lot
He
of
knows his
people had
fucking
black
value.
teachers,
But
and
it-
they didn't
but
get to
it-
be right into Transformers.
But that was the thing. It was I felt like I could maybe contribute to it. Again, I haven't seen it, so I had a lot of fun doing it. I took it more as this big learning experience because like
But a huge movie?
a huge movie. But it is something you need to learn. I mean, everything from just the logistics of actually getting something of that size done to international press to all these. There's so many factors to it that I just wanted to.
how
be
big
in
is
it to-
how big is the role?
It's not. I mean, it's like the comedic relief. You know, it's just the guy. I've spent most of my time running. It's really fun. It was an
Listen, Will
incredibly
Smith
fun.
Will Smith had a strong
Oh
career
yeah,
running.
that shot, the Michael Bay shot.
No,
that-
Will Smith ran in so many movies early on. He was fast. Remember, Men in Black, he was running. Independence Day, he was running.
But
That
the Bad Boys, but that Bad
Bad
Boy
Boys
shot
running.
kind of made his career. You
Does
know
your
what I mean?
shirt
Like,
bust
such a-
open? You show some-
Nah. I don't, yeah,
You got no
Now
abs.
the
the abs
game,
are
the
here and there.
absolute game changer for Will Smith was Independence Day, but he was the star. I mean, that
Right,
was,
right,
it was
right.
already like you're going to be the
But
star.
there
of
were
Independence
several
Day.
films when you look back at Will
At that
Smith
time.
that he ran.
A lot of
It was
running.
A run.
I wasn't prepared for it.
Black
That's the most
man run.
exercise. It was the most exercise I've
What's
ever
your
done
running
before in
game
my
like
life.
as a black man?
It's not bad. Look, if there's a dog that's loose,
Dogs. Black men and dogs.
Fast.
Outta here.
I can hop on cars.
You can do everything.
Faster than-
What did you enjoy? Atlanta, the Donald Glover.
Oh
vehicle?
yeah, it's a great show.
Were you a big fan?
I'm a fan of the show. I immediately called Hero, who directed a lot of the episodes.
Yes,
I
yes.
immediately, called and we sat down and just Like I loved it. I think the tone is great. I
The
think
tone, the tone and
it's unique. It's specific.
Yeah, and the actual visual feel of that show is something that I found really.
Yeah, it looks great. That's why I met with Hero immediately.
Right, like,
because I was like,
what-
oh, what is this? Looks,
how did you do
this? Looks
this?
gorgeous.
I felt the exact same way. It was very hard for me to comprehend how they came up with an aesthetic for the show that felt the way it did. Like when people ask,
Well, it feels like Atlanta. It feels like the hood in Atlanta. They didn't try and clean it up. Hollywood it up,
Overdirty it or overclean it.
Yeah. By cleaning it up, I mean trying to make it look. It just looks honest. It looks like where they live.
Yeah.
It looks
is there
like
anything limiting about? I know it's hard to point out anything limiting about having your own sitcom on NBC, but about the sort of the setup of what a sitcom is. Like your show is a really smart, different, new play on sitcom, but it's a sitcom.
It's a sitcom, yeah.
It's in the same few places. It feels like a sitcom.
Yeah,
Are the
well, I wanted
limitations
it
to that?
contained because I wanted it to be about perspective. Because a lot of times sitcoms start being about story and these kind of silly, unrealistic situations that people get into, and they book. I have 2 dates on Saturday. What am I gonna do? Type of bullshit that just gets boring. It gets boring, and I like have a real like emotional reaction to that type of thing where like my show is really about perspective. It's about the clash of perspective. It's about arguments. And
Well, the Black
so we
Lives
don't have-
Matter episode is a great example
Yeah.
of in the middle of when protests were really becoming a big thing and we were having a moment in this country, which I certainly can't say it's completely past, but I also think we'd be
Unfortunately,
lying.
yeah, it still exists.
It
as
still
a real
exists
thing,
right
yeah.
now, but we're not in the throes of it as we were when this episode aired in terms of like protests were happening all the time in that moment and people were very viscerally reacting to these situations, and you guys really tackled it in a realistic way, which was sort of like I want to be involved and I care, but I have the normal limitations of life as
Yeah.
someone who, as much as you care as a black man in America, you're also living your life and have like tell us a little bit about that episode.
Well, that was and that was the first one that was really at me, and I write a lot of things with Ari Kacher. He's one of my best friends, and we write a lot of things, and that was a hard one because it's about such a small emotional turn, not even a turn, a realization that happens. And that usually doesn't happen in sitcoms. It's usually these big moments in these but it was such a small, coming to the realization of why I didn't want to go to the protest and like the issue, whatever emotional things I had to deal with, that was blocking me wanting to go. And that was a fight, even internally, a lot of people on my staff kind of questioned how small the story is. It was the smallest story it was the second episode we wrote. So it was the smallest story that we'd done at that point. And it was a battle, more so of how it played out than the subject matter, because the subject, even though at that point, I think only Scandal, I feel like Shonda Rhimes, I think Scandal made reference to it, but like no comedy had talked about it yet. I remember when the news story broke, and the worst thing you could do is look at the comment section on like I think it was Deadline or something, and just people were like, "I can't believe they're gonna talk about this on account." Like it was like so absurd to people because they didn't think we were gonna deal with it with integrity
or with nuance,
Yeah, with nuance,
which you really did.
we tried. Yeah, we really tried.
So for people who didn't see it, what was your character? What were you as the character going through?
Well, Black Kid was shot and killed on my birthday, on the character's birthday, right? And my girlfriend and family wanted to go out and protest. I wanted to ignore the protest and just, be selfish, celebrate the birthday. But then it was the realization of why that selfishness was there, and like, that it was out of this kind of fear. The selfishness was rooted in the fear, and that a really small story, like a tiny, tiny story. A lot of funny moments. There's a couple big moments in there, but really a small story.
Gerard Carmichael's his name. NBC. It's the Gerard Carmichael show.
Just the Carmichael
Yeah.
show.
Or the Carmichael show. Excuse me. Before we let you out of here, I want to get your opinion on a couple things.
All right.
All right. Donald Trump.
Donald Trump.
He's a
man.
big Carmichael's a big Trump guy. He's one of the bigger.
You know what
Trump
Trump is? He's you ever watch like spy movies, and you know how like it's all these infrared beams somewhere, and they have the secret mist that they spray, and it lets you know where the beams are, and you have to avoid. That's what Donald Trump is to American society. It really is this mist, and it lets you know where boundaries are. It lets you know exactly where you are, exactly where not to go, how far things are going to be taken. Like, it really is, if there is anything good to come from it, it is a certain amount of awareness, a certain amount of he's like the human equivalent of like a fire drill. It's like this can happen. Where reality is
close
because
to some crazy shit.
We're in this haze. We're caught up in the this lavender haze of 8 years of Obama and this illusion of what America is.
Or could be.
Or
what we wanted to be.
Yeah, and we create the utopia, especially, truthfully, while New York and LA has its issues, it's a bit more...
It's a bubble.
It's a bubble.
We talk about that all the time.
Yeah,
I was like, when we talk about LA, even like places like Miami, you know what I mean? It's like we're so used to this bubble that even when I see documentaries or I see news or something online of what's happening in Middle America, I'm like, I don't understand how this shit is still happening, but it's so real.
I read news from South Carolina and Florida every day as just a reminder. I really do. I go to their local news sites.
Right.
And I read, and you're like, it's some shit is happening out there.
At all times.
Yeah, at all times.
Your opinion on Dave Chappelle's Netflix specials?
I mean, Dave is great. I think Dave is fantastic. He's, an excellent comedian. I thought they were fun. I thought they were both fun specials.
Your opinion on social media comedians?
Strong question. I like it.
If you do it, hopefully you're doing it because you're good at it and not because this is where your opportunity is going to come from, because there are other ways. So, do it because, King Batch I thought was great. I thought he was really, really funny on social media. And there seemed to be a genuine love of what he's doing, there. And there are a lot of guys that are just like, this is my shot. Because as much as it seems like there are shortcuts, I don't think there are really any shortcuts. There's a path of, especially if your aspirations are film and television, then you really need to make sure that you're working toward that and not just trying to.
Another quick hit. How proud were you of your co-star Lil Rel Howery for his performance in Get Out, the comedic savior?
Lil Rel is the funniest person I've ever met. Just the funniest. He makes me cry. Like in social, I constantly just cry.
In real life, this is just the way.
Oh no, real life, just like all.
Yo, we gotta get him up here.
I tweeted with him. I love that.
So truthfully, I wanted him to come. He's not in New York. He's here next week, so he really should.
I need to have you.
Because I wanted him to come with me here. He's incredible.
Like that.
Yeah, I love Rel so much.
Did you see the movie before it came out? Or did you see it in theaters?
No, I saw it in theaters.
How much did you love the reaction he gets in the theaters? Unbelievable.
It's great. That I was excited to see. That's right, because I saw and it was crowded, and it was great. Just that people, because it's real moments of tension in the movie, and then Lil Rel just comes and just
he has some of the best moments.
Great. He's seriously. I mean, and I've been saying this to him for years now, and I love that people are like seeing him, and really appreciating what he does. I really think I ran up to him the first time I met Lil Rel. I ran up to him, asked him about this because he really tried to play me. I ran up to him on the patio of the Comedy Store just as a fan. This is like 2009. And I ran up on him. I was like, man, I just think you're so great. I've been sharing all of your clips with my family. I think you're the best. And he's just like, all right, fam. Then he grabbed his drink and it just walked away.
Is there a real life?
Nigga, I want you for a show. I want you.
Is there a real life Get Out here in your experience? You moving around LA? Is this really happening?
People,
bro, what do you mean? I'd like you to expound.
Where just people are like lost in a.
Yes.
I mean, if people are doing it, a lot of people are doing that to themselves. People are hypnotizing themselves, I think, even more than it's happening. LA's probably, and this is somehow the nicest thing I could say about LA, is that it's more greedy than it is racist.
Facts.
It's more greedy than racist. I mean, not to say that racism doesn't exist in LA, but
But money can win.
Oh, money wins 1,000% of the time.
1,000%.
1,000%. They won't not put you on the air because
if you will generate money for them.
My God. Oh my God. You think when you go into Fox, there's a giant Empire billboard. There's no like the days of Dorothy Dandridge. They're like, no, they appreciate the revenue that is being generated by
black people.
Yeah, they definitely.
Now, I thought you were going to go with, are there places where they're like trying to trap black people, harvest their brains and ideas?
Oh, I already believe that. I don't have to ask that question. I already believe that.
Got it. You already
They're harvesting black DNA. They want the melanin. They want the athletic ability.
I love Ebro. I gotta hang out with you. It's just like
No, you don't.
It's
the
happening.
Tuskegee experiment never ended. It's just like it kind of It's a real.
Have you been hanging out at his house? You tapped his phone?
Is that the?
Basically.
Look how much money's being made off black people.
Here we go.
You telling me ain't nobody cooking up to make sure that this money keeps coming?
Damn, Ebro's eyes changed colors.
I know he gets.
He's
It just got
serious.
real. I thought it.
If
that
you
was great.
just told me that they're more greedy than they are racist,
Yeah.
if we understand that as a constant,
Yeah.
on an international level,
Yeah.
you mean to tell me the value of this melanin and this athletic ability and what we can do
Let's
is
not. You pointed at yourself.
I'm not-
Both your melanin
I
and
didn't- no, I just
athletic
did like
ability
this.
are. I mean, they're at the
minimum. They don't want mine. And maybe not his.
No, well,
based
melanin-
on his
melanin,
running story.
yes, is athletic
Melanin, his running story? Nah, not so much.
Don't doubt Gerard. He's out here playing. You play basketball. You play
Hey,
any,
man, no, I'm
you play any
not-
like
I'm
bad
not-
Hollywood basketball games on the
Oh
weekends?
God, no! I let them
Nothing.
do that. Yeah.
Gerard Carmichael, ladies and
Thank you
gentlemen.
guys for having me. I
Congratulations,
really
man.
appreciate it. Thank you.